Hey there, I wanted to talk about Disney today because I watched a Disney movie recently and I felt something that I hadn't felt in a really long time. In the summer of 2015, I went through a very painful breakup, and the person that I was before that, a dreamer, someone who believes in fairy tales, someone who loves fairy tales, someone who is very inclined to think about fairies and who likes princesses and stuff like that. After my breakup, I just couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't bear the romanticism and the love and the feelings, and I felt like Disney wasn't really depicting love as it really was. I was very cynical about love, and I was very cynical about how Disney was giving the wrong idea to girls. Obviously, I knew before my breakup that the love that we saw on Disney movies wasn't necessarily the love that you will find in your relationships. But I had this frustration in me that made me very angry towards Disney. For 2 years almost, I could not watch Disney movies. I could not watch any romantic comedy, or if I did, it had to be done in a certain way, like maybe sex friends who kind of become lovers just because, like they're used to being around each other. The kind of movies that make your heart melt. Like, it's just so cute and so nice. You just feel happy. Well, those movies, they were making me feel anxious and angry and all these feelings that were not really like what they had aimed to make you feel. And then recently I rewatched The Princess Diaries and the sequel, Royal Engagement. And then I realized I was actually past this phase where everything was making me angry when it came to love and stuff like that. And I watched it with so much pleasure. I felt so good because I was finding another part of me that I had lost so long ago. And because I love being a dreamer, I love loving princesses and I love loving fairies, and I had lost that innocence. I didn't feel complete, and it was not like about how you've lost somebody, it was just how you lost yourself. Disney somehow, with this movie, with The Princess Diaries, just made me feel like myself again. And obviously I've changed, but finding this part of me again was so good. And I was listening to songs from like Tangled because I love this movie. It's one of my favorite of all time and probably one of my favorite Disney movies. And it is such a relief to watch them again with the eye of someone who felt like I couldn't feel anything anymore. And I'm really happy that this realization came with Disney. And then there's this other discussion where you can't be a feminist and love Disney. And I wholeheartedly disagree with that because I consider myself a feminist, and why couldn't I enjoy watching Disney movies? How is that not being a feminist? We've come a long way. Like they really have been trying with Tangled and Frozen, even though it's not my favorite Disney at all. I feel like they have tried it to kind of shift from this old Disney tradition. But really what I see when I watch Disney movies is women with empathy, women like who love nature, women who are strong and who, like Cinderella, for instance, like she endures everything, like everything. They are depicted as soft and maybe docile, but I feel like they're also very human. And just because you're a princess doesn't mean you can't be a feminist. And I do not think Disney goes against feminism. And I do think that in the old Disney movies, the women, they lacked freedom and stuff like this. But again, it's from another generation, and I do strongly believe that in our generation that they are trying to make the changes that will make women see that they can be like empathetic and they can be lovely, and that kindness is very important. But they're also making us see that a woman can live without her husband. But again, a woman that is married, she can still be a feminist, and the fact that some people disagree with that is ridiculous to me. I'm sorry if this video doesn't make sense because I haven't really prepared it, because I really wanted the discussion to be spontaneous. I feel really happy to be fond of Disney again, and I don't like that people think that because you like Disney you can't be a feminist. I feel that's preposterous, to be honest. And it gives joy to people, and I've kind of like stepped away from it because I just wasn't in the right place of mind to enjoy it. But even like before as a feminist, and today as a feminist, and today as a grown woman who's been through a very hard breakup, and who is more down to earth with love and stuff like that, I still feel like Disney gives a lot of magical moments to people. I do want to make the exception for Pocahontas because it's the only story that was based on a true story, and the true story is far, far from what Disney depicted it. I feel like with fairy tales you can play around, like The Little Mermaid not dying at the end, because I mean they're based on like stories that have been told and retold again and again and again. But when it comes to true stories like the Pocahontas one, I feel like they should not try to romanticize something that was terrible. And I agree with this argument because that was very, I think, not smart on their part. And I just want to say that it makes me very happy to watch them again and to watch romantic comedies again. And I know that love isn't what movies and books and Disney tells us it is, but I feel like those books and those movies and Disney give us something to dream of, and they give us something to aspire to. And I mean, love is very important, and I mean, if it can be prettier in fiction than it is in real life, then so be it. I think I prefer to know that at least it exists in books and Disney movies and other movies than think that it doesn't exist at all. I'm sorry if it doesn't make sense. I hope that you enjoyed it anyway. Please let me know your thoughts on Disney movies, on romantic comedies, on love, anything. And in the meantime, I will see you next week with a brand new video. Bye!